Dust off your jerseys, grab your Waukee caps. Got the whole team ready, no turning back. From the hardwood floors to the diamond bright, we're here to talk sports all day and night. Yeah, it's a sports show, from the opening tip to the final, we're with you.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another live episode of Catching Up with Cody. I'm your host, as always, Cody. We have a all-star lineup today. We have Jason and Tim from the Sports Reel. Eric, unfortunately, could not make it, but hopefully he's watching, so shout out to Eric as well. We are a little delayed, had some technical difficulties, but we are here now. So thank you, Jason and Tim, for being on. How are you guys doing? How was your weekend?
Listen, it was a good weekend. I actually had a weekend this weekend.
It was my fault. We were late. I'm having difficulties. You guys are still in slow motion, so it's probably going to drop at some point. I didn't even get to see the everything. Just
well, I saw it and it was great.
Thank you,
dude. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, Tim is having some technical issues here, but listen, number one, it's great to be on your show. You know, I've been watching what you've been doing. You've been a guest on our show, so it's kind of weird from my perspective to be sitting on this side of the presentation. But the weekend was good. You know, spent some time with my girl and you know, just enjoying life. You know, trying to get time to slow down. But here we are on a Monday on Catching Up with Cody, and I'm really happy to be here, man. How are you?
I'm good. I am good. Had a busy weekend, so you know, had to get prepared for the episode as always. So, but yeah, I mean, it's been hot as hell outside, and obviously the smoke coming from Canada has been making life even better. So. Hopefully, eventually this summer we'll be able to go outside and not burn out or anything. So, but it is what it is, I guess, right?
Listen, like last week, we talked a little bit about this on Ball Game. It got so bad in our area, and I know you're not too far away from where I'm at, but that night, that Thursday night, I think it was, when the smoke really engulfed the area. It was just as hazy and foggy with this crap inside the plant that I work at as it was outside. Like there was no reprieve anywhere. And I'm like, I have never seen anything like this. Wow. So the fact that a lot of this stuff has blown out of here, thank God that we're able to be outside for a little bit. But now they're talking about another round of this crap later on this week. So it's like, God damn, where do we get the break, man? Because our summer is being robbed from us, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I was even telling people at work and like even family and friends, like we're inside all winter long because it's too cold and snowy. And then we're inside all summer long because it's too hot, humid, all the above. So we'll find a summer maybe to actually enjoy it one time. But lot of sports stuff going on, especially this weekend. You know, we I guess we'll start with the World Cup. Hopefully Tim will be able to join us here in a minute. Did you get to watch any of the World Cup? I kind of watched a little bit of it, and I did not realize like how big of a lopsided game it was. Like shots on goal, last time I saw it was like 20-1, with Spain having the most. Honestly, if Argentina didn't have that goalie, I think it'd be like 10-0 at the end of that game.
So I'll be honest with you. I didn't really start paying attention to what was going on with the World Cup until we got to the finals. I am not a huge soccer fan, and I appreciate it for what it is. My thing is, I don't know why the popularity of this sport seems to fluctuate on a bigger scale. Now, I realize it's a popular sport to play, but it wasn't until recently that we started really hearing about soccer as an organized entity, much like what football has with the NFL here in America. Like, I understand how popular it is overseas and things of this nature. Like, I get it, but it just seems like we don't really hear a whole lot of soccer until it gets to be World Cup time. And once the Americans were eliminated, I'm like, okay, let me dial back, because again, unless America is invested in it, I'm not going to really pay that close attention to it. But what I saw last night with the finals, and again, it was highlights. Because I don't have Fox or anything like that. What I was able to watch, on TikTok Live, and
Gotcha.
I'm glad Spain won. I guess if I had to pick a team in that, it would have been them. But it just, I don't have enough to be able to analyze it. You know what I mean? But from what I hear, it was lopsided. And in a lot of circles, this was not that excitement, that exciting, over the top, historic game that they're going to look back on throughout the annals of time. That's my understanding.
Yeah, no, for sure. And honestly, the only reason I watched the World Cup is one of my coworkers is from Argentina, and he kept talking about it the last couple of weeks. And I'm like, all right, I got to root for them. Even my girl was like, do you even know what's going on? I'm like, no idea. All I know is that hopefully Argentina wins, and that's about it. So, Tim, it looks like you're back.
I never left, Cody. You just kicked me out of the room. You said, you're not welcomed here, but I forced myself back in. But on that topic right now, it doesn't really matter if you win by an inch or a mile, Cody. Winning's winning. And Spain won. That's all that matters. It might have been in a fictitious sport called soccer or football or whatever we call it. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, winning's winning. It sucked to see Argentina. I think it's Messi, right? Messi, like a messy bedroom. He plays for Argentina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I tell my kid all the time, like, you got a messy bedroom, you need to clean this shit. But yeah, that guy kind of sucked, because I think it was his last World Cup, and he ended up losing it to Spain. I don't even know where Spain really matters. Pointed out. It's really fun. I'm about two.
Yeah, all I heard, it was really fun. So, but yeah, no, I mean, I see, the sport is big. It's crazy. That's really the only time I tune in is for the World Cup. So, unfortunately, I probably won't watch soccer now for another 4 years, but that's all right. It's entertaining when it is on. So,
I mean, do you understand the sudden push right now to get soccer accepted as one of the major sports in America? Like, why are we so late to the party in this, if this is something that's so recognized on the level that it is everywhere else in the world, including Canada? Like, why are the Americans so late in trying to incorporate this into a bigger deal, in your opinion?
I don't really know, because I feel like on the other side of that coin, like with overseas and everything, like I feel like American football is just now getting popular, with the NFL putting teams overseas and like in Germany and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's just kind of they're adapting and getting views for American football, so they're hoping that the same thing translates to soccer. But I just feel like soccer has always been like a overseas type deal, like your Spains and everybody. Like, that's always been top, teams and knowledge and everything. And then USA really gets brought up only during the World Cup and everything. So maybe just because it's not televised as much in America.
Yeah, the exposure to it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously in this day and age with streaming capabilities, like, it's out there, but if it's not promoted in such a way where it feels like a big deal, we don't generally pay attention to it. Like up until a couple of months ago, I didn't see one USA Soccer anything in the stores.
Yes.
The next thing you know, you're walking into the Walmart or the Meijer or wherever, and there is that logo plastered on every conceivable thing, including food boxes and bags and packaging. And it's like, where is this support if you want this to be recognized more than just once every 4 years? Like, I don't that's my frustration with soccer. Now, at the same time, we have kids, we know kids who are exceptional in this sport, and they have a tremendous career in school and college. But once they get out of college, unless they move overseas, then what? What are their options? So I'm hopeful that it can become a sustainable entity in the United States so that these athletes have an avenue to make a living at something that they love to play, much like a football player, a baseball player, hockey player, whatever the case may be. So I don't know. It's just like, that's my frustration with the whole soccer thing.
Yeah, and no, you bring up a good point with the streaming. Like, I think this is now the time where they can get soccer and, other sports that aren't promoted as much during, the other part of the years besides the World Cup and everything. It's now easier to watch stuff, so maybe that's why they're trying to promote it more, and that's why you're seeing it promoted more. But I mean, even like with the World Cup, and if you watch like the MLS and like other soccer leagues, I feel like the competition is more like there's more competition when it comes down to the World Cup than it is in regular MLS and all the other soccer leagues. And I feel like that's with anything. Like, you get some people that will watch baseball all year long and then watch the playoffs, and you'll get some people that only watch the playoffs because playoff baseball, I feel like, is 10 times better than regular season baseball. So I think eventually it will become a bigger sport here in America. I just think, like you said, the exposure needs to be more than just the month and a half that the World Cup is played every 4 years. It needs to be even a year before, just start promoting it. Like, as soon as you figure out who's on the national team, like, okay, let's promote it in any way we can to hopefully get those people to watch it.
Can I jump in here real quick and say one thing about soccer? Because did you say no, Jason?
I forgot you were on here, Tim.
I just been sitting back quiet because I don't know if I'm gonna freaking freeze again. Like, I keep freezing. Like, it's annoying shit. But I'm about real quick to just switch over to my phone because for some reason Restream works perfect on my phone on my Wi-Fi, but I get on my computer and it doesn't want to work. Oh shit! Sorry. Oh. Anyways, soccer. Yeah, soccer. What the hell was I going to say? Well, no, I was talking to Cody about this yesterday because we had talked last night on the phone, and I'm like, I actually watched a little bit of soccer, and I couldn't believe how unbelievably boring the damn game is. Like, when you see clips, this thing looks super fast, like fast paced, everything else. I'm like, these bastards are just walking across the field. I'm like, what is going on? Up until they get to like the last like 30 yards, and then all of a sudden they start moving. I'm like, but this is a lot slower pace than I thought it is. And I think that's why it doesn't catch on in America, because it's kind of boring. I hate to say it. Like, the sport is up until like they're down in like that last like 30 yards. The rest of it is just walking. Like, who wants to see guys walk around and kick a ball to the other side of the field, then pick up the speed? I get it. They're athletes. You know what I mean? Like, they run around a lot. The game is long, but like, shit, you want it to get exciting? We need to see more action. And I don't want to see some dude walking, kicking a ball. Sorry. If I want to watch that, I can watch the old guy walking around my neighborhood every day. Like, that's about as exciting as soccer was for me.
Wow. So, all right, I'm going to bring up a point, Tim, and I'm not saying that I'm one of these people, but for the people that could say the same thing for golf, what is your, like,
you watch?
No. I'm not saying I'm saying that. I watch golf. I text you every time there's a golf tournament. How would you would you compare them in some sort of way for people that are like, well, I'm a big soccer fan and I could say the same thing about golf. Like, they're just walking around hitting a small golf ball.
It is true. It is true. And I give you credit because before I really got into golf, I couldn't watch golf either. Golf is one of those sports that if you're not into it, you're not going to watch it. You don't understand it. If you don't play the game, you're not going to watch it. It's one of those things that you have to do to be able to appreciate what the game is on TV. So your casual watcher is not going to be, a golf fan. Like you have to literally be indulged into that life to really be able to sit down and watch a tournament. So 100%, probably the same thing over there. Like that's the biggest sport in the world. And I say that, I might talk a lot of crap about soccer, but it is the biggest sport in the world. And a lot of those people grow up playing that sport. So they're indulged in it. Unfortunately, it's not that big here, but it is starting to get bigger with the younger generations. Like soccer is really starting to take hold here in America. And I think that it could grow into something. I think Vinny's either yawning or throwing up in the chats there. I'm not sure what he's doing because we're talking about soccer. He probably has the same feelings I do about it. But if I grew up playing the game, I'm sure I would appreciate it more. But unfortunately, I had better things to do, like jump ramps on my bike and, break my arms doing things and do backyard wrestling where I'm throwing myself off of garage roofs. I said roofs. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, we had better things to do. But yeah, no, it's that if it's something that you indulge in, you're probably going to have more, enjoyment in watching it. I never grew up playing soccer. So I don't, the same thing for golf. You know what I mean? If you don't like Jason doesn't watch golf. He couldn't sit down, or he doesn't play golf. It's probably a hard time for him to sit down and watch a PGA Tour event on TV. But everybody in my house, we all play golf. We can sit down. We're glued to the damn TV for 3 hours because we know what the game is. We know, what they're going through. We know we'll never be that good. So it's kind of cool to see some of the shit that they pull off. So yeah, it's the same thing. No, I get it. I get where you're coming from. But watch your damn tone with me, Cody. Watch it. Because let me tell you, I live my life 1/4 mile at a time. For those 10 seconds, Cody's 10 seconds or less, I feel free.
Wow. Motivational Tim on this Monday. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, let's transition to some other big news that happened today. Obviously, I'm a big Michigan fan. I know Tim's a big Michigan fan. Jason, you're probably loving this because it seems like the University of Michigan is just falling apart piece by piece. Ward Manuel is stepping down at the end of this year. I'm not surprised. I kind of want to get your guys' take on this. With everything that's been happening from Jim Harbaugh to Sherrod Moore, like if he didn't have to step down, I feel like it'd be more of a shock. So Jason, what's your take on it from being a sports fan and a Michigan State fan?
Yeah, listen, from a sports perspective, it's just another domino that has fallen for the University of Michigan. Now, what I will say is, despite every controversy that seemingly pops up, every scandal that is dominating the headlines, as a Michigan State fan, it would be too easy for me to just dial right in on that and exploit it and make fun of it and make people feel bad, whatever the case may be. Like, I'm not that kind of fan. It doesn't make me feel any kind of way in a rivalry sense to where I'm wishing ill on people or harm on people. It's just not on that level with me. But if I'm a Michigan fan, if I'm over here thinking, damn, what now? What's next? Why can there not be some sort of stability? Like something's got to remain rock solid here, because that university and the sports program has undergone so much big change in a relatively short amount of time. It's going to start causing you guys some PTSD, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
The littlest thing is going to start triggering people. And who can blame you? As a State fan, we've gone through our fair share of BS. And, the difference is I did hear about it. Like, I'm a part of the program, or I'm a part of the problem. That's kind of kind of the crap that I get spewed as a Spartan fan. You know, the little brother thing. Come, get over your goddamn selves. Okay? Come on. But from a sports fan, from a sports perspective, the University of Michigan's got a lot of work to do to establish some sort of solid foundation to build the whole core of everything on. Now, the basketball team will be good, and we know the football team will be good. But if they're not, how much of that blame is going to be put on all the crap that's happening behind the scenes? Because I feel like that will be used as an excuse / reason.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's way too much going on. So, Tim, from a Michigan fan standpoint, what's going on? What needs to be changed here at the University of Michigan?
Well, simply said, life is simple, Cody. You make choices and you don't look back. Like, that's where I'm going. Like, you just make these choices, you don't look back.
What is happening right now?
This is Tim's 2-minute motivation speech.
I'm the motivational guy. That's why I don't understand what the hell's happening right now.
No, Michigan's falling apart, man. I don't know what's going on. Crazy stuff happened in the offseason. Everybody's leaving. It's going to get blown up. It's going to be 5 years before they do anything in athletics again. It's not a happy place to be right now, to be honest. You know what I mean? But the future is there, and we just got to look forward to that. I mean, as Detroit fans, we know that feeling. So as Michigan fans, we should, get used to that feeling. It's part of being a fan of any Michigan sports in general. So yeah, I mean, stuff sucks, Cody. It does, but it'll get better one day. You just, look for it at the end of that rainbow.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm hoping, with the departure of Dusty May and everything like that, hopefully the basketball team can still either be up on top. I don't know if they'll win another national championship, but we should be hopefully getting there.
That's not going to happen.
It'll happen. Don't you know what?
Years, like you just said, Mr. Sheridan. Listen, man, it's not going to happen because
it will happen. You want to know why it'll happen? Because you don't want it to happen, and we'll make a bet about it, and you'll have to pay up.
Let me pay off the first bet before we start putting wagers down.
October 20th, buddy.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I've got the night off. So, yeah, that's happening. We're paying off the bet. So let me pay off that one before you get me roped into some other bullshit that's going to wind up altering my appearance in some way, shape, or form.
Dude, I so can't wait. You're going to have a blue beard for months.
I will shave it off. I will go in hiding.
That'll be even funnier.
That is going to be a good episode for sure. But yeah, no, hopefully the University of Michigan can, find their next athletic director, and hopefully he can change the program. And I mean, it's not so much like it's a non-winning program, but we just have been running into so many off the field, off the court issues that I think they just need a reset. So hopefully that'll get figured out, but only time will tell. Speaking of other people stepping down, Yzerman steps down from being the GM of the Red Wings. Now, do we think he stepped down, or do you think – I kind of think they were like, either you step down or we're going to fire you, and how do you want this story to go? Tim, we'll start with you. Are you happy about this or no?
I mean, I think – so we've talked about this a ton on this podcast, Cody. I'm pretty sure I talked about this on your podcast in a past episode, but I'm not really sure the problem was Yzerman, and I think Yzerman was probably forced to step down in this position. I think the problem has been Illich all along. I mean, we see these similar things. I mean, Jason's probably sick of hearing me say it already, or I mean, I'm pretty sure he's in agreement with me a lot of the time that, you look at the similarities between the Red Wings and the Tigers. It's Chris Illich. So I 100% think that Yzerman stepped down, and it's probably because, there's a lot of heat in that locker room with him also. I shouldn't say Yzerman stepped down. I think Yzerman was forced to step down is what I'm getting at. Sorry, I'm trying to go in two different trains of thought right now. But Yzerman definitely, I think, was forced to step down. It was because of all the heat in the locker room, especially with the Dylan Larkin thing, and it maybe is trying to save, Dylan Larkin staying here. But I think that has probably passed because I don't think Detroit fans will get behind him. It's not like, the regular world when you're talking about these things. Like I don't have friends, Cody. I have family. And like, if you're not that way in the locker room, like you're not going to get along with the rest of those people. And it's the same way, like with the fans, like Dylan Larkin's already like kind of passed it up with the fans, I think, at this point in time. So I don't think there's no return for him, but yeah, I think he was forced to step down. Like for sure. And I want to hear, because I haven't heard Jason's take on this whole thing yet. Like I think we covered it a little bit on the podcast, but we did it on a show that was just absolutely wild. I don't even know which direction it went. Like that was just a crazy episode. So it was hard to get anything in, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Jason, what's your take on it? I want to hear what you got to say here.
Cody, my take is this. And it really sparked a heated conversation at work the other night. My take is this. If the Dylan Larkin thing wasn't happening behind the scenes, him wanting to leave and all this, Yzerman would not have stepped down. There is so much, as Tim was saying, and I agree with him to a point, there is so much heat within the inner workings of the Detroit Red Wings right now. And a lot of that is a combination of missing the playoffs yet again. I mean, this drought is becoming beyond alarming at this point when you start looking at double digits in terms of years since it's been that you've been in the playoffs. For a place that was known throughout the entire world as Hockey Town, like this, there is a sense of panic. And then your captain is requesting a trade from the team. Now, I agree with Tim in the fact that I believe a lot of this blame can be put into the Ilitch lap. It wasn't until recently that they really started opening up the checkbook for the Tigers. And now they really need to either put that same kind of commitment to the Red Wings, or they have to sell one of these teams because they're clearly not able to maintain financially a certain level that both these franchises have earned as one of, if not the most established franchises in their respective sports. Yzerman, you are either on the side that he is 100% to blame because of his role as the GM, or you are on the side that he is not really the patsy, but like somebody has to take a fall, not the fall, a fall, to try to reestablish some sort of good faith within the fan base that they hear our concerns and they're taking action. The problem is I just don't think that they're addressing all of the issues and they're putting it all on Yzerman. But because of the respect that Steve Yzerman's name has in this city and in the sport of hockey, they structured it in a way where he gets to save face and the franchise doesn't look like a complete dumpster fire for just outright releasing the guy that has literally been the Detroit Red Wings for a generation and a half. You feel me? So I think there's still work to be done here. Yzerman, I'm glad Yzerman is going to remain in some capacity with the team because I would hate for him to have to go to Pittsburgh or go to New York or go to Florida and watch this guy turn these teams around and make them Stanley Cup champions. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I feel myself being very protective of Yzerman's legacy in Detroit from a fan perspective. So if they were going to do something, this was the best case scenario, I guess.
I have to follow you up there real quick. Him stepping down as GM and me move into a senior advisor position, that's mostly just to save face of the organization because it is Yzerman. I don't know how much input he's going to have at the team at this point in time or what he's really doing, because I had put a post out there about this. Somebody was like, that's a promotion. No, the fuck it's not. It's not a promotion, guys. Like, he got pulled off a GM and now he's a senior advisor. What is that position? Tell me what the senior advisor position is.
Yeah,
like,
they probably just made it for him so he doesn't go anywhere else.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And it's probably so that way they don't have to break contract with him and don't owe him a bunch of money and everything else. So they're just keeping him on and paying him. He's going to be sitting on his couch somewhere watching the Red Wings play. He's not going to have very much input left on this team. It was a save face for, Yzerman and for the Red Wings just to give him that position. But he's not going to have much. And Jason, you're right. This all goes down to the heat in the locker room with Dylan Larkin and everything else like that. Like, I that played 100%. A big role in this whole thing, and I don't think it's going to help Larkin's case, and I don't know if it's going to help in the future. And it's kind of a scary place to be as a Wings fan, because you're starting to feel the rumblings of maybe a whole new rebuild going on right now, and we might be looking at another 10 damn years before they get back even to the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up, Tim. Like, I've said it before, and I've kind of thought about it. Like, is this going to be part of the domino effect of, since Dylan Larkin's potentially leaving, like, is DeBrincat going to be like, look, I'm going to be on my way out next? And then you got Lucas Raymond. Like, there's plenty of other names behind Larkin that I can see following Larkin of like, look, you guys aren't doing anything. I mean, the core that they have, they should be making the playoffs. And the fact that nothing has been done and we've been missing the playoffs for this many years, I can unfortunately see, in the next 2 to 3 years, more people leaving from the Detroit Red Wings.
No, I could see that too. And Matt just brought up in the comments there, he said they should have skipped the Yzer plan and gone with the Brendan Shanna plan. Sorry, that's a tongue twister, especially for a guy of my tiredness. But yeah, I mean, but then again, Matt, are we? Do we want another, freaking Red Wings, alum in there running this whole thing? Or do we want somebody who's ready to get down to business and take control and try to get this back to a winning organization? And I don't even know if that matters anyways, because I've been standing behind, on my silver throne of going, hey, the problem is the Ilitch family. Since Mr. I is gone, Chris Ilitch has been running these organizations into the ground. Jason brought up a good point. They've been spending a little bit more money with the Tigers, and has it shown? Not so much this year, but there's still that possibility. I'm still hopeful, you know what I mean? But for the Red Wings, it's more about a money grab, and they don't really care what the record's going to be as long as they can make money off the team, which they always will, because the Detroit fan base is loyal.
Yeah. So, Jason, you brought up a good point about them possibly selling one of the teams. Do you think that they will ever do that? Only because, like, if they do sell the Tigers and then they go and end up winning the World Series, like, that would look really bad on Chris Ilitch, correct?
100%. And it would verify everything that I have said, that Tim has said, that every other broadcaster, whether it be in radio, television, or podcasting, has echoed for the last handful of years here. The proof is in the numbers, Cody, because when Mike Ilitch was here and he was running the teams, he was owning the teams. Look what the Red Wings were doing. It was smack dab in the middle of the hockey town era. We were winning cups. We were at least making the Stanley Cup finals. The Detroit Tigers went from the worst record in American League history. They hired Jim Leland. They bring in a couple of key pieces, both new talent and veterans. And the next thing you know, we're watching Ordonez smack the most iconic home run in Tigers history to send the team to the 2006 World Series. Why did that happen? Because the owner invested in these teams.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
How do you know that? Because I was told today you don't even watch the Tigers.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, go ahead.
I guess I'm just pulling shit out of the air then. I mean, come on. What are we doing? No,
Hey,
that's what happened. Tell me I am wrong.
No, you're 100% right. Stupid TikTok comments. They just hate you, Jason.
And that's fine. That's fine. I don't mind being the polarizing one. I'll play the role of villain. I do not care. I'm trying to be, respectful here on Cody's show, but thank you for at least watching and taking the time to comment. That tells me I'm doing something. So I do appreciate that. And
Cody,
America.
Cody, are you sure you want this guy in your show? Because he brings a lot.
Wow. But like you said, Tim, we can sit here and put out 2 videos of the same thing. You're getting praise and I'm getting, so that tells me all I need to know, brother.
It makes no damn sense to me. You know what I mean? It just goes down to, Jason, I love you. Continue.
I'm the heel. That's cool.
Every group needs one.
I wear that shit like a badge of honor, especially in the fine town of Sacramento, California.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Sacramento. Can't wait to go on tour and make a stop.
Sorry, Cody.
I'll shut up, Cody.
No.
We're messing up your whole show. I apologize.
No. You guys are good. No, there's a lot happening in Detroit. So, but yeah, that was the one thing I wanted to talk about. There was like, if he does sell one of the teams, like, that's going to look real bad on him. So we will have to see. But the Red Wings need to get into the playoffs like soon. So
would you say that's priority 1 between the Illich teams, between the Red Wings and Tigers? If you were to prioritize everything, getting the Red Wings back to the playoffs is priority 1?
I would think so, because I feel like even just making the playoffs, the Detroit fans will be happy because we'll be able to see playoff hockey in Detroit. I think the Tigers are kind of steady where they are with the success that they're having. But yeah, I would say, the Red Wings making it into the playoffs.
I can get behind that too. You know what I mean? And as the Illiches, it's like the first thing with the Illiches, they need to gain our trust back. You know what I mean? Because like, I know me, I have money. It's trust and character I need around me. That's a price I can live with. Sorry, just continue. I'll
Jason, let's just go on record that it's just going to be you and me next time.
No, sorry. I'm sorry. I got challenged for something and I'm trying to make it happen. But yes, no, like I don't even know the Illiches, like they need to figure something out. I think it's going to come down to one of these teams need to get sold. We've been calling it for years, if not both of them. I mean, we got Dan Gilbert out there who would buy up one of these teams in a damn heartbeat. So maybe it's time to move on because obviously they can't manage both teams at once. Mr. I's gone. It's time to figure out what you're going to do with the future. It's not a money grab for these Detroit fans anymore. We want to see some wins in this town, and it needs to happen real quick. And Cody, I think you just kicked me off your show for forever. You just said it's just gonna be you and Jason now. Like, am I off the show? Am I banned?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Am I banned from catching up with Cody?
Nope, you're doing great. You are doing great.
Okay.
We'll have to do a motivational speech with Tim every time you're on.
By the end of this, you'll understand the whole thing, and I apologize about it right now.
No.
I got one more for you, brother, by the end of this. And once you hear this one, you'll know exactly where I went with all these. But because I'm definitely not trying to be motivational. I'll just say that right now.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see where this goes for sure. But let's kind of move on to the next Detroit team that we kind of brought up here that's kind of falling apart, but I feel like is still in the running somehow, is the Detroit Tigers. Trade deadline obviously coming up. Tarek Skubal's name again out there. I saw that they're not going to trade him. Do you guys think that this is for sure, like he's staying on the team the rest of the year, or the Tigers are just kind of saying this to hopefully get this to go away?
I don't know. I don't watch baseball, so I don't know.
Yeah, Jason doesn't watch baseball, according to the TikTok audience. And Jason, I stuck up for you 100%. I just wanted to let you know that. I'm like, all I said was, it's his opinion. I'm like, just like you're welcome to because somebody said you still have time to take this video down. And I'm like, why would I take it down? He's got an opinion, just like you have an opinion. Just because you don't like his opinion doesn't mean like, then don't watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, just because you don't like
I mean, you guys called the Verlander retirement.
Jason called it 3 weeks before it even happened. And that guy's a damn. He's a psychic. But Jason, I'll start out with this one. I don't know if they're playing the field to kind of see how much interest they can get in them by saying they're not going to try to trade them. But at the same time, I came out with a video about a week and a half ago going, shit, this thing may be real. You know what I mean? Like, they're not very far back. The American League sucks. Let's be honest. Like, the American League absolutely sucks. I mean, the last I checked, they're 4.5 games out of the wild card. They're like 6 games back in the Central, or, you know, vice versa, somewhere around there. And like, it is still very realistic. Yeah, Tigers are hot right now. It is still very realistic that they could go on to do something. Now, they make it to a World Series, are they going to stack up against a National League team? I'm not 100% sure. But what I had said in my video when I put it out there was maybe, and I've always been the guy who said, let's get rid of Tarek Skubal, because I am not a fan of him as a person. And I can say this and somehow get praised for it. Jason says it and he gets shit on. But like, I'm not a fan of him as a person. Or as a player in general, because he only gives us 5 innings and like he doesn't really push. And if somebody made a comment today that he's the best pitcher in baseball, bullshit. He's got a horrible record this year. Sorry, guys. He was the best pitcher in baseball last year. He's got a losing record this year, so he's no longer the best pitcher in baseball. But I had been a proponent to trade him. But at the same time, right now, if they have a chance to run at this thing, maybe treat him like a rental player. Yeah, I mean, he's not costing you a crap ton of money this year. So maybe just hold him out and let him go next year. And I think they get a comp pick for him if he goes next year. So you'll at least get an extra pick for him, but you can get at least a run at it this year. Let him walk next year. Let's go on a run here, because this thing is still very winnable. I think there's still 60-something games left. Only being, you know, a handful, and I can count on one hand on either direction, whether it's the Central or, you know, the wild card spot. They can still win this thing. So I am 100% behind now, even though I'm not 100% behind Skubal, just keeping them at this point and making a run at this thing. Because let me tell you, Hector is going to be running 3 Honda Civics with spoon engines. He just went to Harry's and ordered 3 T66 turbos with no NOS and a Motec system exhaust. There you go, boys. I just hit 6 Fast and the Furious quotes on the Catching Up with Cody podcast. Boom. Sorry, I had to hit the last one. I got challenged to hit 6 Fast and the Furious quotes on your show, and I did it. And you were all confused thinking I was going motivational, Cody. You think I was going those were all Fast and the Furious quotes.
Who?
Every one of my little motivational things.
Who challenged you to do that?
That's irrelevant. It might have been myself. I don't know.
There's only like 5 people that know about my show, so it can't be that hard. All right, Jason, what's your opinion on this whole Tarek Skubal thing? I know you've talked about it before, but like, people say we're making a run. Like, are we just making a run to the playoffs? Because we're definitely not winning the World Series.
That's it right there. We as a fan base, we are going to be content if we make a wild card. And I totally understand that. It's the playoffs. My thing is we like I'm part of the team. The Detroit Tigers did something pretty remarkable last season. that we felt that with the right tweaks, we could have really added to what brought us to a certain point that was unexpected to take us to the next level, which could have been the ALCS, if not going to the World Series. That clearly did not happen. I mean, a couple of things were done in the offseason, a couple of signings with the pitching staff and things of this nature. But the bottom line is, no matter what the Detroit Tigers are doing, on the underside of that, you're hearing Tarek Skubal. What's he going to do? Is he staying? Is he going? And I have gotten to the point to where I'm like, I'm done listening to this shit. I'm done seeing how this whole thing has been, portrayed in the media on both sides of the equation. It's become nothing short of a distraction. If I said last week, the Detroit Tigers are at a crossroads. If you're going to make a run for the playoffs, then make some sort of deal with Skubal, pay the man, find that common ground, shut the fuck up, and go on and do something with it. Or get rid of them, get what you can for them, and let's put the pieces in place for next season, assuming that there is a next season, because on the horizon is this very dark cloud that says lockout, because that's what's happening. There's going to be a lockout in Major League Baseball unless something happens, very drastically. So if the Tigers want to make a run, now's the time. Is it possible for them to make the playoffs? Yes, it is. It is possible for them to win the American League at this point because there's still a lot of baseball left. And their hot streaks are starting to become a little bit longer than the cool streaks. They went 7-3 in their last 10 games. And here they're starting a series with the Chicago Cubs, who are not playing the best baseball right now. So the Tigers at this point have an opportunity to really start moving up very quietly too, because nobody's going to pay attention to them on a national level until we start getting into late August. They're like, oh shit, the Tigers are making moves. We do have that capability, but fucking make a decision. Do something. Either sign the man, trade him, something. But I'm tired of this being a distraction and an anchor that is preventing this team from moving forward one way or the other. That's from somebody who doesn't watch baseball, by the way.
Jason, real quick. I want to steel man you real quick. And this will be a question for the both of you. So do you think, because of all this shit that's been going on with Tarek Skubal, and, we kept hearing, he wants a 10-year deal, and all that other stuff. And with the looming lockout coming up, and word on the street is, they're going to be asking for a salary cap and whatnot. And we learned last week that they're going to get rid of deferred, contract payments, whatnot. So that could screw up the whole Ohtani thing. Do you think the Tigers are playing it smart to keep him anyways? Because if they don't sign him and there ends up being a lockout, he's not going to get the contract that he wants regardless. You know what I mean? Because if there is a salary cap, nobody's going to be able to pay him what he wants. Now, do you think it would be smart for them right now to sign him to whatever extension they can for the short period if he would accept it? Or do you think they should just sit on their hands like they've been doing in hopes that this lockout happens because they could get him cheap on the back end compared to what he's going to cost right now, I should say?
I feel like if they can come to a number and they're treating this as like a rental agreement to get to the end of this season, just to see what's happening in December and how long this work stoppage is going to wind up being. Now, hopefully they can come to some sort of agreement and they understand the grand scheme of things and why a lockout would pretty much destroy a huge chunk of the fan base that will not come back. I promise you that. So there's just such an urgency here, big in the main scale, and with these teams like the Tigers who are in the position. I'm all about signing him for the rest of the year, or at least to get through this year if you're going to make a serious run for the playoffs.
Well, they have him for the whole year anyways. He's already signed for this year, so they don't have to do anything. He's going to play till the end of this year, like regardless.
Right. You're right about that. But my thing is, if they can sign some sort of an extension that's going to appease him, this whole thing no longer becomes a distraction.
True.
This whole thing can be put to the wayside for now and focus where the focus needs to be. Because whatever the hang up is, you can see his whole presence in the locker room and on the mound. Like we're just not seeing the same guy. And is it an attitude thing? Is it because there's something else going on in his arm that he's trying to mask and trying to portray himself to be as normal or as close to 100% as he can? Like there's something going on here. And it's becoming very painfully evident if you're paying attention to something other than just the numbers.
No, 100%. Cody, same question to you. I mean, I'm sorry about all the Fast and Furious quotes on your show. I apologize. But same question to you. Like, yeah, give me your opinion on that.
I honestly think we should trade him only because, like, kind of to piggyback off of what Jason was saying, like, I think he's doing all this to hopefully piss the Tigers off enough to them to just say, you know what, fine, we can't come up with a number. You obviously don't want to be here, so let's just trade him. So I think that's what he's doing. Since this whole contract thing, he has an attitude problem. So I think that is just dragging the team down. I mean, you got Riley Green, Torkelson, like there's guys on this team that want to win, that want to play. I think he wants to win, and I think he wants as much money as he can get from anywhere. I don't think he cares about the, like you said earlier, the family aspect of anything. Like, I think he's just there to make money and to win a ring, and I don't think he cares what team he wins it with.
I mean, I'm running 100% there, right there with you. But I don't know, like, I'm starting to get the feeling that this may be not be a Tarek Skubal thing, because he has come out and said he wants to stay with the Tigers. He has said that. I think his agent, was it Scott Harris?
Scott Boras.
I knew it was something Scott Is. You know what I mean? I think a lot of this has to do with his agent. He's just going along with what his agent says. You know 100%. What I mean? Because his agent, I think, is the one who's fucking this whole thing up. And sorry for the language on your podcast, Cody, but I've heard you use it now, so I feel okay with it. There's a time and a place, right? We can all get away with it at one point or the other. But yeah, I think a lot of this is coming from his agent on that end. And that's kind of crappy, because I feel like he wants to do this, but he's following his agent too much. I think Tarek Skubal can go more than 5 innings, but I think his agent's in his ear going, don't go more than 5 innings because you could injure yourself and the money's not there. Don't do this because you could injure yourself and the money's not there. Don't, live up to this expectation because, you could hurt yourself and the money's not there. I think it's just a money game on his agent. I think, and we all know about this agent, this is the way that he operates. But I think if you could just sit down. I wish you could just sit down and talk to Skubal without that asshole there and work something out. I think you could sign this guy, because I do think he's a really good pitcher. He's obviously won the last 2 Cy Youngs. It would be nice to keep him, but Jason is right. The theatrics and all the BS and the social media stuff, Jason's been piping this stuff for months with going out on social media and releasing all this stuff. It's just, this is not stuff we as fans need to see. Keep the stuff out of the public. You guys figure your shit out behind closed doors and just figure it out, because we are sick of seeing the drama. Is he being traded? Is he not being traded? Does he want this much? Does he want that? Is he only pitching 5 innings? Did he sit out? Like, it's getting dumb, and it's all playing out right in front of our eyes. And I'm fed up with it, to be honest. And that's why I've been a proponent for almost all this entire season of just trade the guy. Ever since the World Baseball Classic last year, I was like, as soon as he didn't go back and finish playing with that team after they advanced to the thing because he was worried about getting hurt and, ruining future money, I was like, I'm done with this guy. You know what I mean? He did the same shit to us in the playoffs last year. If he had just went one more inning, we would have probably went and chase the pennant. You know what I mean? But he didn't give that to us because he was done after 90 pitches. You don't do that to a team. We watched, frickin' Yamamoto or whatever his name is and Otani go back to back to back to back to back in the World Series they want to win. I want to see a player who wants to win. And so far, because he's chasing money and listening to his agent, I have not seen that out of Tarek Skubal. I haven't seen the leave everything out there on the baseball field and want to win out of Skubal, because right now his mind is money. His agent's mind is money. And that's the point, that he is at in his career where he's chasing that big money for his next contract. And it's shitty. For us as Detroit fans, it's probably a little bit shitty for him because he's listening to that agent. And it's shitty for, the office at Detroit who has to deal with this shit going, this is not realistic. So, I mean, Jason, do you really think a lockout would be the worst thing for baseball right now? Or do you think a reset, do you think a reset with the salary cap to even the field, so we're not just seeing the Dodgers or these large market teams running this thing? I honestly think it could be the best thing for baseball to reset this market to where we can see competitiveness across the entire league instead of just in certain markets with certain teams.
There is an argument for that, and I could totally see that frame of mind. And a lot of fans would have that mindset. To hit a reset button and to have a level playing field on paper would be amazing for the sport. For fans like us who genuinely enjoy the sport and all the nuances and everything that goes into what makes baseball America's pastime. But the vocal side of that is going to be the argument, this is millionaires versus billionaires, and why am I going to put any more time and effort into a sport where people are getting paid to play a game and yada, yada, yada. We heard it in 94 when it canceled the World Series. And to this day, I know a lot of people who have never watched another professional baseball game because of that. That's what I worry about, because that's what's going to be in the forefront. People, and primarily these are going to be your larger market fan base, your Dodger fans, your Yankee fans, your Red Sox fans, the ones that are considered the powerhouses. Houston is now starting to become part of that conversation. This is a very vocal part of the fan base that will influence a lot of people who may not look at it like that. So for us, I love the idea of a more level playing field. I think that's what baseball needs. So we're not getting back-to-back years of Yankees Dodgers World Series. That's why I was so glad that Toronto made it last year, because when's the last time the Blue Jays made the World Series? It was something new. It felt fresh. You know what I mean? And that's what baseball needs. It can't be just these 3 or 4 dominant teams, much like what the NBA was dealing with. It's not a bad thing for real fans, but on the grand scheme of things, Tim, I don't think baseball would be able to recover financially with fans going back to the stadiums.
I think it could hurt in the short term, but I think in the long term, we've seen that with the NBA since kind of a little bit of a reset, you know what I mean? And you're starting to see some new teams in there. A lot of new interest is coming to the NBA. But at the same time, Cody, same question to you. Do you think that, a lockout would really hurt the MLB, or do you think it would, resetting salary cap, resetting the league, making it a more even playing field across? I think, myself personally, I think it could bring a lot more new fans to the sport in smaller market teams than what you would lose in those larger market teams.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it helping in the long run. Like you said, kind of making the playing field even and everything. But I don't know. I feel like baseball the last couple of years has been it's not really a super watch sport right now. Like I feel like it's kind of not dying off, but like I feel like your NBA, your NHL, all those sports are kind of gaining more traction. So I think with MLB having this lockout, it's going to take those fans that are on the fence of, we're baseball fans, we're not. Like I think they're going to go away, and like Jason said, I think it's going to ruin the fan base at the same time.
I could see that, and it's funny you brought up NHL because NHL is actually, I think, like 5th or 6th in the market in the country right now. Like they're falling pretty hard, and they actually did this where they reset the entire market and they put a hard salary cap on all these teams, and a lot of fans left, to be honest, and like not a lot of people watch NHL anymore. Like I think soccer in America is higher ratings than what NHL is now.
It's because of how it's promoted by the powers that be. If the commissioner and his team knew how to market the NHL, it wouldn't be that way. Same thing with baseball. The thing that saved baseball was Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa. That's what saved baseball. Nothing like that right now is happening.
That's why I'm a proponent for steroids in sports, because make this shit exciting again. Let's get these guys all juiced up and hitting home runs again. Like, yes, that would be exciting.
Yeah, no. So we'll have to see what happens, with this lockout and everything. Speaking of,
highlight Matt's comment there. He said MLB is a step ahead. Can't lose fans if you don't have any.
Damn. I mean,
hot take.
God. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, if the Tigers, get on a hot streak and then we lose baseball, that's going to be tough. But, we talked about Scooble being on the fence about if he wants to stay here or leave. Jalen Duren, I feel like now is in the same boat. Like, I'm actually going to kind of put him on the same level as Scooble. Like, just get the hell out of Detroit then.
I'm right there with you. That's all I'm gonna say. You didn't perform in the playoffs. If you want that kind of money, leave. If you're willing to sign a team friendly deal, then stay. Because he was great in the regular season, but as soon as you get the postseason, you flop. You're not going to get the money anywhere, buddy. Like you didn't have the postseason performance that deserves that type of money, so you're not going to get it. So stop playing games. Either sign a team friendly deal that can keep you here, or just move on, because you're going to get that same deal we're offering you anywhere. Nobody's going to pay you that money. He's trying to play hardball, Cody, is all he's trying to do, to try to see how much money he can pull. And, is he worth it? Possibly. He's 22 years old. You know what I mean? Like, he's got a lot of future ahead of him. He's got a lot of growth ahead of him. Could he be worth that money in the future? Sure. But right now, no. You know what I mean? If you want to sign for a couple of years and then restructure your contract later on for another extension for bigger money because you turned out to be a superstar, that's one thing. But your performance hasn't really proved that you're worth that max contract, and you're not going to get it anywhere. So either just sign what they're offering you or go somewhere else. Like, honestly.
Yeah. Jason, I see those wheels turning. What you got?
I just feel like, he really wants to be that head and shoulders superstar on the same level that Cade Cunningham is enjoying right now with the Detroit Pistons. Cade, obviously the face of the franchise, and justifiably so. Jalen wants to be on that level and could be, but like you said, he completely failed to show up in the playoffs in the times that we as fans and they as the team needed him. It got no more serious than that. And to kind of play hardball like Tim was alluding to, kind of the dumbest thing that he could do. But then I started thinking, God, who could really benefit from a team with that kind of stroke, with that kind of confidence that he could go into a locker room and completely, reshape the vision, or a team that would really more or less put him on that pedestal that he's looking for, albeit kind of artificially created, based all on ego. And I feel like the fine folks of Sacramento and the Kings could really benefit from Jalen.
So it's funny you said that, because from what I've been
dead ass though, I think the Sacramento Kings would they would find a way to sign him. I feel like, but again, does he really want to leave the Pistons? And knowing what this team is on the cusp of, is his ego going to really allow him to play this kind of hardball that he probably is not going to win, if we can be honest? So you look at another team that doesn't have a whole hell of a lot going on, and the Kings do qualify under that umbrella.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a schoolboy like situation too. Like, is his agent saying, like, look what you did in the regular season. This is what teams are going to pay you for what you did. But unfortunately, you have to play not only the regular season, but you have to play that well in the postseason. And that's really what hurt him. And I don't know if he really understands that, or if he's just seeing it from his regular season point of view and being like, I kind of backed it up enough of what I should be getting paid because of what I did in the regular season.
No, I mean, that's great and all. And that does wonders for your individual records and statistics and everything like that. And you did help with a winning record that put the Pistons into the playoffs. But I mean, everything that you did before game 1, round 1 didn't mean a damn thing.
Yes.
Because the playoffs is a whole new thing. Just like we've talked about it with the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, everything that brought you up to that point, that's great. That's wonderful. That's something that you can hang your hat on at home. But now this is where it counts. And when it counted, you were not there. It didn't make a damn bit of difference what you did in the regular season, because when you were needed most, you failed. For whatever reason, you failed. And that's what counts.
Yes, for sure. Tim, you got anything else to throw in on this one?
No, I mean, Duren, just figure your stuff out. Like, either
he's going to Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that 100%. Like, but he's not going to get the money that he wants from here. You know what I mean? Which is unfortunate, because this team it's on the verge of doing something very, very special. So, and that kid we just picked up in the draft, he's been looking really good in summer ball. You know what I mean? So, like, you got another shooter out there now. Like, I'm pretty excited to see the direction they go this year. But to ask for a max contract when you don't deserve it, you're just hurting the team. You know what I mean? The best teams always have those guys who like to play ball. I mean, I'll turn this to the NFL real quick. You look at Brady and how many years that he took team-friendly deals to make sure his team could go on and win 7 Super Bowls. You know what I mean? Those are the teams that do really well. If you want to win in this league, you got to be able to make smart decisions, and sometimes those smart decisions are taking a little less money. Now, look, guys, these guys are making more money than any of us will ever see in our entire lives. Like, it's not going to be that much different if, you take 10 million less a year if you're making 30 million a year. It's like, piss off. You know what I mean? Like, let's see. If somebody's willing to pay you more money, go there. If not, sign a team-friendly deal. Let's go and win this thing next year.
Yeah, for sure.
I say let's, like I play for the team. Like, I could, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, like, I'm probably that athletic still in my life. But unfortunately, I spend my days, worrying about doing podcasts and stuff like that. I took a different avenue, but, I could still ball if I wanted to.
I'm sure you could, for sure. The last thing I want to talk about before we get out of here, which is kind of news that just came out, is Jahmyr Gibbs now potentially holding out for training camp. Like, why is all 4 of our teams struggling with somebody? Like, what? Let's go back to the same old Detroit team. Like, let's just be crappy and we don't have to worry about contracts and everything like that. I mean, that's where I'm at this point.
Wouldn't be easy. It'd just be so much easier in life, wouldn't it? Jahmyr, I'll lead this one off because Jason's got to laugh for a while. Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, I can
bring Montgomery back.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, we're not going to get rid of Gibbs. This is just a move to try to get him to move. And honestly, I don't blame him. And it'd be the smartest thing in the world for, Detroit to try to wrap this thing up right now, because instead of waiting for Bijan to reset this market and him costing us more money, let's reset the market with Gibbs right now so it doesn't cost us even more money after Bijan resets it. Just make the move right now. You're going to re-sign the guy. He's the best running back in the league. If you want him cheaper, just do it now, because as soon as this market gets reset, you're going to spend more money. This is the same argument I had for Hutch when they were going to re-sign him. You know what I mean? Like, sign him before the season started last year and he would have cost you less money, even though he did take a pretty team-friendly deal. I do have to say Hutch did take a little bit less than what I thought he was going to take. I thought he was going to go for more. If you want Gibbs on a real team-friendly deal, just sign him right now, because if they reset the market with Bijan coming up here pretty soon, he's going to cost you a lot more money. So it's actually, I think, in the favor of the Lions if they act smart to re-sign him now. So hopefully this is the spark in their ass to actually do this move now, because they need to do it, because he's not going to go anywhere. You don't let the best running back in football walk away from your team, even though I'm a big fan of Isaiah Pacheco. And, he used to play for the Chiefs. I'll put my money in the jug, Jason. It's going in the jug. I said it again. But you're not going to let him walk. So I think this is a good move on his part to help out the Lions, to force them to re-sign him before that market's reset. And that's all I got. Jason, go ahead.
I agree. He gets whatever needs to happen to keep him with the Detroit Lions. Do it now. Make that priority. Do it now. For the very reason you just laid out. If you wait on this, you're going to wind up paying a hell of a lot more. But on the other side of that, I am so goddamn sick and tired of hearing stories about guys like this holding out. If this was an egregious thing, I could understand to a degree. But at the same time, you're screwing your team over. And when you're putting that kind of news out there for the public, you're now starting to make the fan base question a lot of things about how much energy, effort, and in a lot of cases, money are we going to invest in a team that is not committed to winning on the field because we're more worried about our individual income. Like Tim said, these guys are making more money than we will ever see in our lifetime, and then some. And they're over here pissing and moaning about, well, I don't have my extension or this, that, and the other thing. The fact of the matter is, by definition, I've got to believe you're still under contract with the Detroit Lions. Get your ass out on the training field, in the training room, and be a part of this team. Because if you wait, and you're going to get signed, so this team isn't going to let you go. You're going to get what you want. So instead of causing this friction unnecessarily, do the right thing and be a part of the team for the team itself. And as somebody, especially with Gibbs, he is a role model to a lot of kids. So by him kind of portraying himself in this way, this is telling kids that it is, money is more important than anything else, including your love of the game. And then you're going to start, making kids question their love affair and what is the basis of their love affair for these sports. That's, to me, if you're a role model, you have a responsibility. And that's why, like the shit with Scooble and Larkin and everything else like this, like, can we not have this in the public? Can we take care of this crap behind closed doors so that we're not accidentally, inadvertently molding the minds of the next wave of fans that is going to pump every type of support into these respective sports? Leave it off social media, take care of it behind closed doors, and move on. And let's go win some goddamn games. That's where I'm at with it. And I'm almost with you. I'd rather the team suck so that we don't have to hear about this crap anymore, because we didn't have to worry about this.
Yeah, for sure. And the one thing that I've kind of been thinking about, like, if any of like for us, for example, like people that aren't professional athletes, like if we walked into our job right now and said, "Pay me more money, and I'm not going to work until I get that money," like they're going to tell you the door's right there. See ya. Like that's what's crazy to me. And I know there's like differences between the athletes and obviously the general public, but like I don't know, it's crazy. And I think because it's like hitting close to home now of all four of our teams dealing with contract issues. Like I said, yeah, I'd rather be a terrible team than have to now deal with this for who knows how many years in a row because it's going to be Scooble. Okay, we got to figure that out. Then Riley Green's going to want a contract. Then this guy. Then this guy. Like it's going to be just a domino effect of all this stuff now until Detroit sucks again.
No, I mean, and that's true. And unfortunately, back in the day, we never saw this shit. But with social media now, we have to see.
That's
this
true
shit,
too.
like, front
Yeah,
and
that's
center,
true.
You know what I mean? I think this stuff has always been going on. We just didn't, we weren't privy to it in the past, and now it's all front and center because when these guys are disgruntled, they jump online and talk about how they're disgruntled and everything else. I mean, we're seeing that with AJ Brown and everything else, and Diggs, and these guys who jump online and start talking a bunch of stuff, especially when it comes to the football world. But yeah, I think this is something. I don't think this Gibbs story is going to go on for very long. I think this is just him saying, "Hey, I want an extension." Like I want to be here, so let's get this extension done. I don't want to say he's the enemy yet. We'll see if this starts carrying on into the season. Then yeah, I'm going to be pissed off. But if this is something that they can take care of right now, because I think it would be the benefit of the team to take care of it right now. We know there's some premier backs out on the market right now that are about to get re-signed in the same situation. And once that happens, like I said, it's going to cost more money to get it done. So we did it with Amon-Ra. We reset the market with Amon-Ra. And now you look at Amon-Ra's deal, he's a steal. You know what I mean? Like we got him super cheap compared to some of these premier wide receivers that are out there now. And let's do the same thing with Gibbs because we don't want this to cost us, a crazy amount of money. I imagine it's going to be somewhere around 22 a year, 22, 23 a year, which I think is pretty fair for a man of his talent. You know what I mean? But I think you can get him for that right now. But if you wait, it could cost you up to 30 a year. I don't want to see that because now you're getting into the Branch money. You're getting into the Laporta money. I think Laporta is not going to be here coming up next year because I think that's the easiest position to replace out of all the skilled position players that are left out there that we need to re-sign. But I think it's a move that needs to be made now regardless. And I'm looking at this as a positive. I hate the way that's happening, just like Jason said. He's sick of seeing all this stuff. I do hate the way that it's happening. But if it takes this to get, the Lions into gear, I'm cool with it personally. I mean? I thought I wish Hutch would did this, to where he could have cost us even less money than what we ended up paying him. Because the less money you pay these guys, every year in football, the salary cap goes up. So you get a little extra room. But the less money we would have paid all these guys, the more room we would have had to get more players. And right now, you don't want to keep just pushing it off until you're starting to lose some of these really good players because you can't afford them because you waited too damn long to sign some of these guys.
Yeah, no, for sure. A lot going on in Detroit. A lot of contracts that need to be looked at. So we will have to see what the future holds. But I just want to say thank you guys for coming on. Honestly, it was cool having both you guys on as a guest. I know, Tim, I know you've been on a couple times as a guest, but Jason, I hope you liked being on that side of the mic there. A little different than what you're used to, but hopefully you enjoyed it.
No, it was cool, man. It was cool to be able to just kind of sit down and talk and not have to worry about anything else going on. So, I mean, this was awesome. I really appreciate the invite and would love to do it again. So yeah, this was cool, man. You got a cool thing going on here.
Thank you. Well, you guys go ahead and plug your stuff. Let everybody know where they can find you and what's coming up for the future for you guys.
Jason, you want me to plug tomorrow night show?
Go ahead, Tim.
All right, tomorrow night, 6:45 p.m. Eastern at the PFC Entertainment Network on YouTube, Facebook, and Riverside.com. We have Don't Know Grit. Matt, he's actually in the chats right now. So he'll be joining us here tomorrow night on our show, the Sports Real Podcast. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm sure we're going to be covering a lot more about Jahmyr Gibbs and a lot more about the Detroit Lions. We'll probably get into a little bit of Tigers talk. You know what I mean? Who really cares? It's not a real sport. But no, I'm just joking. I love baseball. I saved the not a real sport. That was a dig at Jason. But yeah, we'll get into all that tomorrow night. But you can find us at, the Sports Real PFC pretty much, or just the Sports Real Podcast at all social media. It's also the PFC Entertainment Network, everywhere that you can find us. And yeah, that's where you can find us. But tune in tomorrow night because it's going to be a great show. If you guys want to get real deep into the Detroit Lions, Matt from Don't Know Grit is your guy. This guy is an analytical beast. Like, he can break this stuff down, and I'm really excited to have him back on. It's going to be a phenomenal show.
No, it is. We're looking forward to it. One of the cool people, one of the cool guests that we've had on the Sports Real Podcast. Next week is going to be a little bit more busy for us with a new episode of Ball Game, where Vinny and I break down all things MLB, and then for wrestling fans, the Fatal 4-Way live on July the 31st, a big SummerSlam preview episode live on ONTV. And all of that information is on our socials. Just look for the PFC Entertainment Network. So thanks again, Cody.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for being on. Check out their stuff, guys. I'm going to be on, I believe, the 28th of this month. So
you're next. You're not this week. You're next week there, big guy. So next week we got you and Nathan Mulugeta on the show, July 28th at 6 p.m. Eastern. So yes, that's gonna be a good one. We got the promo shot coming up for that one tomorrow night. And Cody, I do apologize for hitting you with 6 Fast and the Furious quotes tonight. I pulled it off. You guys had no idea what was going on until probably the last one, because that one was pretty obvious.
No, you did great. You did great. I'm glad that you were able to do that. So
one last, am I allowed back on the show? Because I know
yes.
there for a second you said, Jason, next time it might just be you, and I've kind of felt myself die a little bit inside.
Well, I was worried there. I wouldn't let you come in. We kept having those technical difficulties. So hopefully,
I do have to say, I don't know what the hell's going on with that. Like, the stuff works perfect over my phone, but on my computer, it's got to be a restream thing. I do have to say that, because like that stuff takes like 15, 20 minutes to kick on. It's my computer. It's my computer doesn't like to cooperate with restream.
There we go. I was going to say, Jason had no problems with it.
Hey.
Listen, it's going to garner a brand new T-shirt this week over at pfcsportsreal.printify.me. Did I freeze?
Look at that. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Catching Up with Cody. We will be back here live next week, Monday, 9 p.m. We have the Last Row podcast, so tune in for that. It's going to be a good show. Thank you, guys.